Good day, Salam Alaikum. Welcome to my Sufi Life Design lectures. Today we are going even further than in our last YouTube lecture on philosophical levels and cosmical levels of 99 God's names and their symbolic meanings. Today we shall be dealing with the 99 names of God as ontological operators, seen as metaphysical intensities, understood as epistemic architectures in classical Sufi thought. So, dealing with these methods and perspectives, we shall be making a hyperstructural comparative analysis of Al-Ghazali, Ibn Arabi, Rumi, and Suhrawardi. Therefore, our inquiry today concerns the 99 names of God, Asmā al Ḥusnā, not as devotional vocabulary, but as metaphysical operators, as ontological intensities, epistemic modalities, and vibrant cosmic archetypes through which the divine essence, al-Dhāt, becomes manifest. So we shall be examining the names as structural invariants of being, as semiotic matrices, as epistemic pathways, cosmological laws, psychological architectures, ethical imperatives, phenomenological energies, luminous degrees, and metaphysical algorithms. So, to do this, we have to place in rigorous dialogue four main intellectual perspectives, or if you like, four major intellectual architectures. One of Al-Ghazali's, which is ethical metaphysical synthesis and proto-scientific cosmology. That of Ibn Arabi, which is a kind of ontological monism and archetypal metaphysics. That of Rumi Mavlana, which is experiential, a kind of phenomenology in which divine energies emerge quickly and without stopping, and Suhrawardi's, which is kind of a frame of illuminationist ontology and epistemology of lux and lumen, of light and lighting. Therefore, we shall be starting with the names of God as metaphysical operators and proto-scientific laws that are mostly vivid and mostly present and presented in Al-Ghazali's Sufi frame. Al-Ghazali's Al-Maqshad al-Asnā is a philosophical system disguised as a kind of devotional commentary. He constructs a multi-layered metaphysics in which each name corresponds to a metaphysical quality, a mode of divine causation, a natural law, an ethical disposition, a psychological transformation, and a mystical station. For Al-Ghazali, the names are operators, metaphysical functions that act upon reality. So we have Al-Khaliq, operator of origination, Al-Mushawir, operator of form giving, Al-Qayyum, operator of sustenance, Al-Hakim, operator of teleological ordering and structure, Al-Nur, operator of light and illumination. Al-Ghazali thus anticipates a worldview in which natural law is the continuous self-disclosure of the names, and the names are cosmic algorithms, where Al-Ghazali sees the names as attributes. We have Muhyiddin ibn al-Arabi who sees them as eternal ontological archetypes. So in Ibn Arabi's Waghdal al-Wujud, the names are presented and seen as precosmic realities. Creation is the self-disclosure of the names. Every being that exists is a mirror reflecting one or more names. And the human being reflects all names, hence al-insan al-qamil. So the names are the metaphysical DNA of existence in Ibn al-Arabi's work and understanding of divine names. Language here is not symbolic. Language that he uses is purely ontological. To utter a name is to invoke a metaphysical intensity and metaphysical density. So from Ibn al-Arabi, we are going to Mawlana. Mawlana makes and creates, understands, feels, intuits the names as phenomenological energies of love, ishq, and ecstasy. Rumi does not systematize the name or the names. He just performs them. So for Rumi, the names are energies. The names are not concepts. So to ignite the heart, you need to dissolve the ego and intoxicate the soul. The names are, within Rumi's system of ishq, experienced as rhythms, as flames, as vortices, as samā, as winds and currents. So where Al-Ghazali analyzes and Ibn Arabi ontologizes, Rumi embodies. So the names are affective intensities, in affective energies, where the very phenomenology of divine presence is input. And this process has epistemic consequence, which means that knowledge of the names is experiential. The knowledge of the names is not conceptual. Now, we need to see what about Suhrawardi. Suhrawardi makes these divine names as luminous ontologies in a system of emanation and illuminationism. Suhrawardi's Hikmat al-Ishraq introduces the metaphysics of light, and for him, reality that it is a hierarchy of lights. Darkness is a privation of light, and knowledge is illumination. Looks, the divine is the light of light, Nur al-Anwar. So Suhrawardi interprets names such as Al-Nur, Al-Zahir, Al-Batin, Al-Latif as degrees of luminous intensity, energy, and power. So this is a kind of an epistemic architecture that is seen through knowledge of the names as a process of illumination and emanation, not abstraction. Now, we are dealing with a kind of a hyper-comparative synthesis here because we have four metaphysical architectures of the names. We have Al-Ghazali, Ibn Arabi, Rumi, and Suhrawardi. Al-Ghazali makes these metaphysical architecture of the names through metaphysical operators, ethical imperatives, and scientific principles. Ibn Arabi makes it through eternal archetypes, ontological structures, and cosmic mirroring. Mawlana Rumi sees these metaphysical architecture as experiential energy, a kind of a mystical intoxication which deals with affective intensities. And Suhrawardi understands this and intuits it as a kind of luminous degrees, as metaphysics of light, which is shared with epistemic illumination. So all together, they form a four-dimensional hermeneutic of understanding divine creational names through ethical scientific perspective, through ontological archetypal perspective, through experiential phenomenological perspective, and illuminationist epistemic perspective. So the names as the symbolic and scientific architecture of reality, they function as not only as cosmic principles, but psychological archetypes as well, and also as ethical models, scientific laws, natural laws, mystical stations and degrees, linguistic symbols, epistemic pathways, luminous degrees, and metaphysical algorithms. They are indeed the alphabet of creation, the grammar of divine action, and the map of the soul's ascent. So to conclude today's lecture about the names as the metaphysical infrastructure of being, the 99 names of God within Sufi tradition are really the architecture of reality, as we have been seen in Ibn Arabi's metaphysical Sufi system. The science of divine causation, like in Al-Ghazali, the fire of mystical love, burning and wasting, as in Rumi, and the hierarchy of illumination, as in Suhrawardi. So to know the names is to know the world. To embody the names is to know oneself. To be transformed by the names is to know, which means to feel closeness to God, to absolute, to intuit it, to get to know Him as an essential part of every being.